Okay. Should I ask you guys some questions regarding your roles and what you guys enjoy?
Sure.
Or do you guys just want to talk about it? I'm
Is
fine
the
with whatever.
sign-ups already open?
Huh? No, the
Uh,
signups aren't open yet.
it'll open
We're planning.
after the
Yeah, it's
stream,
gonna
maybe.
be sent out tomorrow or the day after, and then people can start to sign up if they want to, or they are interested in becoming a board member next year.
Mm. Yeah, I think we should just talk about what every role does so people know that, and then maybe just talk in general about the board experience for us as a board a bit.
Yeah, I think that's the nicest way. Should I start?
Yes.
Because it
Sure.
might be the easiest. Well, as I think everyone knows that is also watching the stream, is I am the chair of the ones. Um, that means you have a lot of responsibilities, I guess, is maybe the main word to use. You have to make sure that everything runs smoothly, that everyone's tasks are like doable and that you know a bit what everyone is doing, and also just be able to help where help is needed. It's a very free role. If you want to do a lot of extra things, there's a lot of space for that. And if there's a time that you're a bit busier, there's also some freedom in that. Yeah, as I mean, at least for me, what I experienced is a lot that it was like the thing that I at least enjoy the most was just being able to do a lot when I wanted to. In the beginning, for example, I did a lot regarding the drive. But yeah, what I also really like is just in generally, I always check up on all my board members, or at least most of them. Like Bram, I know
Vera
he's
is
just
the
doing his
best
stream.
chair.
Bram just
I
giving
am
him
always.
tasks is enough.
Yeah,
I am
Bram is
always
always
fine.
just doing his thing, but it's mainly the other three where I just kind of hop in,
So
you know. And whenever like there's sometimes Nikita doesn't have time to do something, and then I help. And there are times where Lynn is being a busy little lady, and she's never giving anyone else a task, and then I just tell
no.
her, "Yo, drag me in," you know. But yeah, so being a chair is fun, you know. You're just okay. Yeah, I guess there's some tasks you always have to do, like for example, hold the meeting. You're the one holding the meeting, the one controlling the meeting a bit, and making sure that it flows. And also, like, you have to set up a lot for GMMs, you have to write the agenda and stuff like that. But to be honest, once you've kind of got the like flow of it, it's very easy. Now Nikita can
You
talk about
also
her
get
role.
chair perks, right?
What are my perks?
From old chairs, when you get crowned chair at human.
Yeah, you
Yes, you
get
need to buy
beer.
other
You
people
have to
beer.
buy other people beer.
Yeah, but
That's such
once
a
you
good
have
perk.
win share, people
Yeah,
will
you
buy
get beer.
beer
That's
for you.
true. You get free beer.
Free beer
Oh, and
twice
you
a
also
year.
have to do all the talks at Kobo's.
Yes,
Yeah.
you have to do that
That
too.
is such a good perk.
Yeah. So I would advise being a chair, you can't be like too shy, but also it's okay because I was really scared of like
Vera was also freaking out
I
sometimes,
was
you
Yeah.
really
know.
scared of
Yeah.
especially talking to other associations. Like I was
But
freaking when I
you
went to
do
the
it
Kobo and I
anyways.
knew like people like Edison Sarah was there, I was like shit, I'm gonna flip. This is so like I don't want to do it anymore. But once you've done it like 2 or 3 times, it's really fine and you have a lot of people around you in your board as well that are just supporting you. Maybe Bram didn't want to go to Kobo's, but hey, at least I had Lana.
So true.
She was my
I
Kobo
like
woman.
Kobos.
So yeah, that's kind of the role of chair. Yippee!
Yippee!
Nikita!
Um, yeah, I am the secretary. As secretary, your main role is taking notes during meetings, during GMMs. Well, for the GMMs, most of the work comes after the GMM because you gotta like um, write everything down like everyone said it, and you have to like do it from like a 2 hour long recording or longer, depending on how much your other board yaps, you know, or other board members.
We
um,
love yapping.
yes, not calling anyone out, but Lynn, Vera, other than that, you have to like manage the email. Whenever an email comes in, you label it with the wrong, with the right,
With the wrong
the wrong
board.
with the
label,
wrong
guys.
board member. Yeah,
With the wrong
just make
one.
sure no one ever responds to their emails. Yeah, And if someone doesn't realize they have an email, you gotta
Mm.
like tell them like, yo, like maybe it's a good thing to respond or
Especially
stuff
me.
like that. Lana, for example.
Bad with the
Yeah,
emails. Yeah.
some people are more on top of it than others, but that's fine. You also have to, as the Seki, you have to figure out like who has a sport card, and then you have to send a list to the Radboud saying like, who these members have sport cards, and then they are like, yay, or they're
They're
like sad
happy.
you only have 2. Yeah, well, they're not so happy if you have like none of them, but
Well, yeah.
I actually we're not so happy if you have like none of them, but you can't really do anything about that as Seki at least. But yeah, you gotta send out like a form. What else do I do? You gotta like keep the member base up to date when a new member signs up. You gotta like put them in the member base. Then you gotta make sure the introduction committee can become their buddy and like see their relevant information, like their email and their phone number.
Yeah.
I think that's most of what I do. And you can always take on extra stuff, like if you
Yeah.
care a lot
I
about
think
something.
like every board meeting there are like certain tasks that not necessarily are for one specific board member. Usually with those tasks it's just whoever has time, whoever feels like doing it is the one who takes upon it, if that makes sense. Sometimes we have to reach out to someone, sometimes we have to announce something, and like announcement isn't necessarily one person that does, as you guys have seen. Like every one of us have made a lot of announcements in the Discord. That is just something that is kind of just to see, hey, who has time, who is interested in this. It's very free. So yeah,
Yeah,
like there
that's
are
a bit
always
quiet.
tasks in every board meeting where just some people do it.
It's weird.
Lynn room looks like
A murder
Looks like a
documentary
murder
scene with
documentary. Maurits.
Yes. I am in fact a murderer, did you not know?
For
We
each
have
of
a
you, do you
question,
think you spent
guys.
more
Yeah.
specific time on role-specific tasks or general tasks? For me, it's mostly a
person.
mix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's just a mix because some things do fall under my role or partially fall under my role. So it really depends on the time of the year, I think.
Nano has a question.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
Yeah,
we're
I just
answering.
answered that
Pay
question.
attention, Lynn.
What?
Lynn is
But
Lynn-
I
picking up
didn't
focus.
think
Are you
that was
doing
the
are you
answer
doing
to
other
the
stuff
question.
during our stream again?
This sounds like
Maybe.
me.
She always
Maybe.
is. Anyway, I think I spend more spend more time on general tasks, other than the minutes of the GMMs. But you can do it like a little bit over time with that. But the general tasks they take way more time up.
Yeah, I have so too. Like I think in general I spend a lot of time. I mean, I don't know if it maybe falls on the chair, but right now I'm spending a lot of times doing committee work. Because sometimes if certain committees aren't like necessarily going too well and they need some support, I usually just step up for it. But I guess it kind of also falls under chair because I'm responsible, but also like sometimes you should also learn to like give or ask for certain things from other people. It doesn't need to be board members because a lot of board members already do stuff. But yeah, it does like take a lot of time, but at least for me, it isn't like annoyingly a lot of time. Like I do this usually when I have like sometimes I have to make an announcement, and I usually just do it when I have like 5 or 10 minutes spare. Or there are some things that sometimes take more time, but a lot of things just have to go through a lot of people, which makes it take a lot of time. But yeah, I guess it's more general task, but most general tasks that I do kind of falls under my role, but not really as a role function, because chair is just so vague, kind of, you know?
Broad.
Broad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about Bram.
Bram, do you do
Wh-
tasks?
which task do I do?
Yeah, oh, that's right.
Are mostly role specific tasks, yes.
And the
That
tasks
isn't
we
it-
tell him to do.
Well,
Yeah.
Lustrum is over, so I guess.
That wasn't even
List-
for the board. That was your own
No,
choice.
yeah, that
Board,
was just that
I
was
mean-
not a board thing.
I mean, it's committee work.
No,
Yeah,
it's
that's-
not.
No.
What committee
The
is it?
list of
Endurance.
committees.
Yeah, it no, it
List-
was an
I mean,
it was an
technically they did-
external committee.
They did.
Yeah,
they
it
did
was
want
work.
all the treasurers to be in there, so that's technically work.
Yeah, all
yes.
right. I
Yes.
guess that it's a board task then.
I guess
Kind of.
so.
And what about you, Lynn?
Lynn
Well,
does
the Commission
everything.
of Esports has just mainly 2 busy moments in the year. That's the few months leading up to the sign-ups for the tournaments and the competitions. Other than that, the rest of the year is pretty quiet, except for the fact that you do have to upkeep your teams and, keep a bit of contact with them, ask them how they're doing. But other than that, yeah, there are just those 2 busy moments usually.
So do you spend more time on role specific or general tasks?
Well, that depends on the time of the year.
Okay.
And what
But
you
in
call
total out of
general-
the year, you think?
In general, I would say more general tasks, but that's also because I just take on a lot of tasks, so they're not really necessary.
Fair. Then we have answered that question. If there's any
Yep.
more questions, please just feel free to ask them whenever. Now Bram can talk a bit about his role,
Oh damn! My
being
beautiful
treasurer.
role.
What does it entail? What is hard? What is
Yeah.
easy?
What does it entail?
After this, we'll
Match
answer your
the
question. Lana.
number.
We'll
Match the
answer
number
after
of the invoice to the
after
number
Bram's.
that you pay.
Yeah, but
of the
explain,
IRL.
Bram.
Yeah,
What
but how
you
do I explain matching numbers? You read number, you fill in number, you pay.
Well, what if
I
people
mean-
didn't even know treasurer was
Or
about
he
keeping up
does
with
the
money?
finances. He does the finances of the organization.
in the
That's his
name.
main
Just make
role.
sure that all of the money going
True.
out is right
Yeah.
and all the money going in is right, and that there's not shit missing, and that there aren't any people doing fraud, and then
Yeah.
there are also people checking that
Thank
he
goodness
doesn't
Lynn
do
also
fraud.
picks up my task
And
of
then
That's
there's
explaining.
he does do like budgeting, so like it's like the main person for setting up the budget, making sure the commissions have their money so they can do stuff. Yeah. What
Thank
else,
goodness
Bram?
you all kept Thank goodness you all kept talking. Now I don't have to explain anymore.
No, this
This
Yeah,
is
okay,
This
this
is
is your
How do I
role.
explain
This is
matching
your
numbers?
role.
You didn't even know
I
how
was-
to explain it.
I kept talking and Lynn just started explaining it herself as well, and then she just kept on going. so I
Because
didn't have to
Yeah.
do
you
anything.
explained it so
I was
bad.
getting there. Yeah, but
You're not getting there.
it's my
you,
role.
you were not
It's
getting
true.
there.
You're
As you
supposed
want
to
me
be
as
the
your
treasurer.
treasurer, you don't really need to be.
You
You
have
don't
no
necessarily
you
need to
no
be an
experience.
economics guy.
No.
No.
You don't. You do need to do the treasurer things, but in general, you don't have to do a lot of
Yeah.
things outside of the board tasks if you don't want them.
So for
True.
every role, when you actually go
true.
and start doing the role, you have a guide, like a manual on how to like on the important things that you need to do. That's been updated by the last board.
And you will
We'll need to
also
update
always
it.
be able to ask at least a lot of past board members. Like you also have probably have an advocate, like we have an advice committee.
Yeah, we have an advocate, and the next board
yeah.
will have an advocate too.
Yep.
And a lot of the advocate are old board members. Not all
Yeah.
of them, but a lot of them are. So you can always ask them for help.
Now, to answer your question on how often do you guys meet IRL and how often online? Oh, wait, yeah, I think we try to do 50-50 most of the time, but a lot of the times either Nikita is maybe in England or right now Lynn is traveling a lot, and then it often turns to online. But when we do have everyone in the Netherlands and everyone present, we try to do it IRL.
I mean, sometimes you guys don't even want to come to location. Be honest.
I mean,
Yeah.
no, there's
Sometimes I
times
just wanna
that's
be
what I'm saying,
home.
It's 50-50. Like
I'm
there
just
are, there are
quite busy.
weeks where we all go and there are weeks where we don't go.
Yeah.
It really
I
it
mean,
just also
it's-
depends the time
I
and
think
period of everyone.
It depends a lot on the board what they want, right? Because it's not necessary to either meet online or meet IRL. You just have to meet up a decent amount of times wherever, just to discuss important things, right? But how you do it is up to the board members who how they want to do it. So, for example, if next year everyone wants to do everything completely online, or everyone wants to meet up every week IRL, that's up to them.
And what I do think is important is to talk about this, about your board, because it is nice to kind of be on the same line. Because let's say some people really like the IRL connection and other people don't. Maybe you guys can just find like a middle way. Because there's a lot of times where maybe you guys will disagree on something, or maybe you guys will have different opinions. But there are always ways to work around it, right? And
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's just the best way to do it. Like we've had times where people are busy, so we just say, "Hey, we're gonna do it online." And there are other times where when Lynn, for example, was leaving, we had two IRL ones back to back because we wanted to see Lynn once before she was gonna go travel. But yeah, it just really depends on the people. What do you guys want? What do you guys prefer? And I think
But
that's the
it's
most important
important
thing.
in general, right, to set up
Yeah.
expectations and clear things of what you want from each other at the beginning of the year. Whenever your expectations change, or there's something that you don't like, or something that's bothering you, just immediately say it out loud, because in the past, boards have gotten into quite a bit of trouble just
Yeah.
by communication or disagreements that were not communicated. So it's just important to be able to say those things freely and discuss that with each other. Even
And
if you don't come to an agreement, at least you're aware of the situation, you know?
And I think if also you sometimes have struggles, maybe saying it in a board meeting or whatever, there are always, for example, at least I think what I always think is nice is as a chair, also to kind of realize maybe sometimes someone is struggling with someone, just talk to them about it. And if it turns out, hey, this person is struggling with someone else, you can also just talk to that someone else person. So it's kind of just like a way, just maybe if you can't fully communicate with 5 people there, try just talking to one other board member and see how that goes, right? And yeah, I also think that's kind of a role as a chair to also just kind of, take care of your board, because yeah. Hee.
No.
Um,
Nano asked another question, but it's more towards Lynn, which is a bit less board related, but he asked, what are you traveling for and where?
I'm traveling through Europe for a few months, just to see the world, I guess. I just want to see a lot of different countries, and I have done the west of Europe in the past month, and now I'm going to England for a week and meet up with Nikita, and after that I'm
Yay.
going to East Europe, and the month after that I'm going to North Europe.
so if you want to choose where Lynn goes, if we get our total donations to 750 euros, you can
Damn.
choose Lynn's next destination.
Money.
That's
Also,
actually
before that,
that is
Bram does a TikTok at 400.
Yeah.
Vera opens prismatic Pokemon packs at 300. We get 2 painted nails for a month at 200. Oh wait, at 500.
2 months.
At 500, I'll dye my hair live here on stream. Nikita does face paint for 150, and we eat chili peppers for 100. And don't forget, at 50 euros, we have the ice cream on Doran's weekend.
True,
So
true.
yeah, jelly
We
peppers
treat
is
treat
getting
everyone to ice cream. Only 10 more bucks.
Oh yeah.
Whoa. Well, we will continue with our introductions. Then we have our next role, which is Lynn, Commissioner of Esports. You already said very shortly that you have 2 busy moments in the year, but could you explain a bit more
Pepper.
exactly what do you do and what does your role entail?
Yeah, so the Commission of Esports mostly does the, how do you say it in English? Upkeep with the teams. So at the beginning of each season, new teams need to be made, and the existing ones need to be signed up, of course. So you make sign up forms, you see and communicate with the teams how they're doing, and with the single signups, if they can be a team together, of course. And then you kind of match people, and then you sign them up. You need to make sure that every team has a good roster, and that they want like that the team is okay before you sign them up. Yeah, we're currently participating in the DCS, in DSL, and other minor tournaments throughout the year. Usually for the minor tournaments throughout the year, we send our selection teams, or we let the teams sign up themselves if it's an open tournament. But if you can only send the top team, you of course need to do the selection team, sign up the selection team for that. And of course, besides the regular teams, the selection teams, you need to do the tryouts for the selection teams. So you organize a place where people can scrim against each other. Then you pick the people you think would best participate in such a team together. And then you
5 minuten ben ik er.
put those in the selection team and the main roster.
Zet me,
Of
ja, zet mij hier neer. Sorry.
of course, you need to make sure that the teams not only just are picked by their highest skill level, but also that they play well together, that they can communicate together well, that you have all of the roles necessary for a successful team in the team, not that you have a lot of double roles or whatever. So yeah, that's important. And like I said, those are usually done during 2 busy moments of the year. For the DSL, it's around the tryouts should be around, I would say November, December. For Rocket League and League of Legends. For Valorant, we only have the DCVS that we participate in, so the tryouts should actually already be done in September, which is a very short time after you're selected as board. So that will most likely be done in collaboration with the current esports commissioner.
Which is
since
you.
Yes, with me. So because I don't want to put too much pressure on the next esports commissioner that they have to do it like within a week of getting selected.
Oh,
Which
that
is something
chair.
that I did this week that I forgot. So yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Nice.
As for the
Um,
previous question.
yeah, also
We move on to
I'll
our
explain
last
my part
person.
because my food is ready.
Yes.
So I'll go eat after I explain this, and then I'll be back.
Yeah.
So I'm the Commission of PR and Sponsoring. So it's mostly the sponsoring part is about the sponsors we get for the association. At the beginning of the year, you're mostly busy with setting up the contracts with sponsors you also had the year before. So right now we have Café van Buren as our sponsor and Stamcafé, which is a cafe in Nijmegen. With a sponsor like that, you regularly have contact through the contact person you have there. I usually contact him through WhatsApp, and we met up a few times. I know, I message him quite often because every time we have a borrel or we need to do something for Gala, what our sponsorship is for this year, well, then I have to discuss that with him. So as Commissioner of PR and Sponsoring, you're probably also part of the borrel team next year since you are the contact person for our cafe. Our other sponsor is iTrainee. You also see that in the left corner of our stream. And iTrainee is a sponsor that looks for people that are almost done studying or are done studying, and then they give them some more. They teach them some more stuff and give them a job, like shortly explained. And that's like a sponsor that you meet up with a few times a year to just discuss things, make sure everything's on track. Other than that, we're trying to look for new sponsors. We're trying to see if we can get some equipment this year. More will follow for that on the GMM. And the PR, the personal relations part, mostly has to do with just that people know who you are so that you have like go to the Kobos. It's a very good way to just get to know the other boards from the other esports associations, but also our sister associations here in Nijmegen, such as LASIA, the pole dance association. So yeah, just go to the Kobos, have contact with the other boards, have contact with other people that are that could be interesting to our association. And other than that, you just pick up other tasks, like we talked about, just general tasks that need to be done by the board and just get divided over the board. Depends on how much time people have at that moment.
What I think at least is that what is important is that you shouldn't really be scared to take on it. Like, it might seem like a very big role, but you're in it together as 5, and whenever there's an issue that comes up, like, we have a group chat where we talk in like every single day. Like, even if it's just not necessarily about board stuff, but just in general, every time you have questions about doing something, anytime there's like, oh guys, hey, I was supposed to do this, like, there's a lot of people to help you.
It's a good way to make friends too.
Yeah, that's really fun too. I met these few more people. I give my love to them.
I
They're
think
amazing.
Vera is the best. Now, what I also want to mention is
Amazing.
if you think that you would really like a certain board role, but there's like, for example, one part of it that you really don't like. For example, I don't know, I can't really give an example, but you can
I think a
always
good example is,
discuss.
for example, that you think you'd want to be chair, but you would really hate going to Kobos, for example, because I think as a chair you should go to Kobos, and it's like a task that a chair should technically do. But I think that's one good example for if you want to be something, but you're scared of a certain thing they're kind of
Yeah.
supposed to do. But yeah, continue, Lynn.
Something I wanted to say, indeed, like, for example, if you want to be chair but you don't want to go to Kobos, you can always discuss that with your board members and let someone else do it. It's no big deal. The roles aren't necessarily stuck on as they are. You can always rediscuss who does what, as long as it gets done.
Yeah.
But
And I
of
also think
course,
it's important to maybe, like, if there are certain things you are scared of a role, or there are certain things you're not certain of, in the application committee, there are current board members and also past board members. They're there to also answer all of your questions. And if you do decide to apply, then just say these concerns, then they can also keep it in mind. And if like that way, there's always people who can help you either way. So yeah.
the most important thing about being a board member or becoming a board member is just to be passionate, just to have things that you want to do within
You don't
Doorlands.
even have to be passionate. Like Bram
I
is
mean,
not
okay, we
passionate at
have
all.
Bram.
No
is
offense, Bram.
sure, but like in general, there is just something that you either want to do or something that you wish to do. Because Bram also applied with the idea of, I'm gonna become a treasurer. I'm gonna
Yeah, Bram.
do bank
Do
stuff.
nothing.
I do
No, he
so
does.
much.
He does the bank
I
stuff.
know.
does the
He
bank
does
stuff,
the
like,
bank stuff. Other than that, though,
He does his role
No,
very
but the bank
nicely.
stuff is also important. He's a good
But-
treasurer.
what I'm saying is, even if you have nothing that you are currently capable of doing within the board, at least if you think you're not capable of doing anything in board, it doesn't matter as long as you have a vision and something you want to do and passion to do it. And you can always learn along the way and just make it happen, you know?
Yeah. I also went in here with no clue what I was gonna do. I went in here with like, am I even gonna be fit for this role? Because I had only been in Doorlands for 1 year, and then I was like, fuck it, let's just do it. And then I also knew, for example, Bram wanted to do it, and at the time I was pretty good friends with Bram. And to be honest, I didn't really know who Lynn was. I also didn't really know who Nikita was before, like, board. And I became such good friends with these people. Like,
You
even
thought I
You-
sucked.
You didn't really know who Lynn was. It's not like I was already bored for half a year.
No, I did know who you were, but
Haha.
like even at the GMM, I didn't dare to speak to you. Like you were this one person who I was like, I don't really know who she is, right? And yeah, it's like even if you
I'm so
apply,
intimidating.
I'm pretty
true.
sure maybe Nikita can talk a bit about her like appliance, because I think Nikita was a bit of a dark horse. No one really expected to join the board, right? But
I
please,
don't know
Nikita,
why. Bro, I
Nikita
literally
was a
told
wild card.
I told
me.
Jim. And
Yeah, but
Jim was
Jim
in the
doesn't get one.
board. He should have told anyone.
Yeah, but Jim doesn't talk about things
Yeah.
if you don't explicitly tell him that he can say it to other people. Which is
Yeah,
respectable,
fair.
you know.
But walk us
But-
through it, Nikita. What were you like very nervous about who you were gonna be with, or did you know who you were gonna be with,
Well,
or?
I didn't really know much about Dorans because I wasn't too active before I applied. So I was like, I'll apply for boards. I wasn't really worrying about if I would get in or not, but I was like worried if I would get the role I wanted. Because I also didn't know who else applied other than Bram and Lynn.
I mean, we all knew that Nana also applied.
No.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but
Oh.
I heard it from other people. But
No way.
I was like living under a rock, but like I just saw the email. I was like, I want to do this. Then I made a CV because I was like, okay, next year I have nothing to do, so I might as well. So I made a CV and then I sent it in, and apparently the Sekis in the Applico liked that I made a CV.
I also made a CV.
He did not make a CV.
Of course you didn't. But yeah, and then they just emailed me back like, when can you meet? And then I met with them online because I asked if that was an option. And then they just asked me questions and I answered, and then
Were
yeah.
you like nervous? What did you think when you saw us? We were like, this Vera, no.
Okay, the only one I didn't really know many of you. I knew Bram just mostly by name, and he was like at the weekend and stuff. I knew you also just like vaguely by name. Vera, I had been in a team with Lynn, but I don't think I didn't have the greatest like idea of Lynn because I don't think we matched in the team.
No.
But outside of the team, you're great.
Thanks. Thanks,
yeah, love you now. At the
I'm a
start, I was like, oh no.
I can be a little passive aggressive sometimes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sometimes, no, I'm kidding.
But it all worked out. I was a little bit worried about that, but other than that, I don't think
It's
I was that
okay.
worried.
Huh?
I didn't know anyone.
No, I also didn't know Nikita before this, and like Lynn, I kind of knew, and then Lana and Bram, I had a tournament, or I played volleyball with last year, so I kind of knew.
Yeah.
At least Bram I knew very well, and then Lana I knew from the volleyball tournament.
Mm.
But yeah, I was really nervous, and then I don't know, we just kind of also clicked. After a while, you just talk so much with each other.
Yeah.
Like at one point after like most of our board meetings, we were like league anyone like. You just at one point you just you just
I literally I got a PC from them, so
yeah, true. We got Nikita a PC
True.
for her birthday.
Thank goodness my closet is finally empty of PC parts.
But yeah,
See,
I think like even if you just think like I don't know who I'm gonna expect, like if you have time, if you wanna make time for this and be a part of the association, just sign up. Like it's fun.
Wait, Vera, I'm actually also quite interested how your board application went.
Yeah.
Really?
Explain me.
Well, I don't know when it was that I decided that I wanted to be a board member, but after I became the Aqua Chair, I was like, oh, I kind of like just doing stuff for Dorans. And then at one point, I was like, should I apply? And then I also talked to like Nienke and Jochem and stuff, because I'm pretty sure Jochem also once applied for board. I don't know if people knew that. Oopsie, maybe I'm leaking stuff. But
I did
so
hear
many
that he
leaks.
applied for board. I think he already said it as well.
yeah, I mean, he has talked about it before. But yeah, I was just genuinely talked about it. I was like, well, it kind of seems fun to me. And then I knew Bram was interested and I knew Lana was interested. And I was like, well, I kind of like those people, so why not? And then I was thinking, which role do I get? Or which role do I want, actually? And I think for me, like, if you put it to a ratio, I think me wanting to be chair was like 5 times higher than my second role. Like, I think if I looked at the roles and I was like, which one do I want to do? And PR and sponsoring, like, I would also be fine doing it. But yeah, I don't know. I just really chair just kind of spoke to me.
Okay, but I can do dinner.
Seki
though
also
when you
spoke
leave
to
through.
me.
Okay,
But
I'm gonna go to the shop quickly.
yeah,
and get some snackies, 'cause
I just like yapping,
thought I'd
and I knew I was allowed to yap a lot if I was chair. So that was a good reason for me to become chair. So I just kind of applied, and I was like, they also just asked me questions, like, what do you want to do? And I was like, yo, I low-key high-key want to be a chair. And it's kind of, I don't know, maybe it was also like, I kind of knew I was going to be probably the youngest on the board. And it's always like, do you really want the youngest one as chair? But I was like, fuck it, I think I can do it. I've also been in like other like not really an association, but like even in high school there was this one, like we called it an UNESCO group, but we also organized a lot for that one. Like every single month we had something to organize, and there I was also just always thinking a lot and yapping a lot, and I was like able to help a lot of people. So I was like, I don't really want to be stuck on one thing. I wanted the freedom to be able to help everyone that needed help, and that's when I was like, yeah, I just kind of like chair. So my ranking was also like chair, seki, PR and sponsoring, and then I'm pretty sure it was treasurer, and I just said I don't want to be commissioner esports.
But I heard that nobody wanted to be commissioner esports.
Yeah. I mean,
Not my second role.
I think commissioner esports is like one of those roles if you really like being also in like the tournament scene and you like being in like the gaming scene. I think it's a really fit role. I just think if you look at like our board, it's like not really that computerish. Like we have 2 lawyers, we have 1 business administration student, like, so none of us really were interested in like the like,
I mean,
the
actually, that is a good piece of advice. If you want to do commissioner esports, it is recommended that you have knowledge of a broad spectrum of games, because you're gonna need to be advising and like communicating with a lot of different people who play a lot of different games, and helps a lot if you actually know stuff about those games and are interested in those games, because otherwise it's pretty complicated. Now, I'm not saying you need to be good at all of them, because I'm definitely not good at all of them, but I know the basis of all the games, and that
yeah.
helps a lot.
They're saying
Wait,
hi.
but Bram,
Yeah, it's very loud.
when
Yes.
did you decide that you wanted to do another board year?
Bye.
Before the start of when I quit being bored the first time.
You already decided that when you quit the first tier board that it was so much fun that you wanted to do it another time?
Yes.
Just kidding.
But wait, did you apply in the same year again, or did you
No,
purposely wait a year?
I purposely waited a year because school. I did a lot of school
Okay.
last year.
That's fair enough.
I didn't want to do 2 consecutive board years because it is not ideal.
I was never gone.
I actually want to make a statement as well about my board application. I want to make it clear to everyone that when I was not a board member yet, I was not a member either. Actually, in fact, I was not a member until very recently, and
Yeah, but you were a benefactor then, though.
I was a benefactor.
Yeah.
But
And
back then I didn't. When I applied for board, I didn't know yet whether benefactors could be board. I just applied because I thought it would be fun, and I spent a lot of my board time actually not even being able to vote on my own GMMs, but it was very fun. So I wanted to continue being bored, and I think that I would like to encourage anyone who is also a benefactor for applying if you want to as well, because I think that even though it is a bit of a hassle being far away, I still think it's very fun. And if you really like Torrents, you can still support them from a distance. So don't be afraid to apply, even if you live far away.
I also think there's ways to work around that, because I mean, at least for some of us, like we also ran into some issues of being their own location, and like we also already knew beforehand that Lynn wasn't going to be able to go on location a lot, and there's just always ways to think around it. Like we have one member, Aiden, like he's helped us a lot as well with board games and stuff. And there are times where Bram can't go to Smash, and then we always know there's like Matthijs to be there. So even if there's certain things that you're scared you won't have time to do, or if you do decide to do it when you live far away, hey, I'm down to do a board year, but I live far away. Like there are a lot of ways you can just help by being there online. I think there's not a lot of issues that arise because someone lives far away. Because I think most, at least for me, nearly 95% of what I do as a board is just online on my PC, and there's not that much that you have to do like on site. Of course, there are times where we as a board decide, hey, you guys want to do an IRL meeting, and then we also just end up talking a lot and just, yep.
And usually we also try to plan it in with like events or activities that are happening that we need to be at anyways. So
Yeah.
then we just do it beforehand or afterwards. So yeah, just plan it, what's most convenient for everyone.
Yep. And there are a lot of also a lot of ways to approach meetings. Like in the beginning, we kind of tried finding one slot that was fine every single week, but we realized a lot of our schedules are just really all over the place. And then we just decided, hey, at each board meeting, we decide when the meeting was going to be the week after. So usually at the end of our meetings, we're like, hey, when are you guys available next week? And then we just plan in somewhere. It's usually for us at like 10 or 11 a.m. in the morning when most of us are free, and then we just talk. And usually they last maybe like an hour to 2 hours. In the beginning, you're gonna have a lot of longer board meetings, sorry, because there's gonna be a lot of things that will have to be set up, and you have to get things going. But after a while, like even our last board meeting, we only maybe had 2 things to talk about, and then we end up just talking a lot about other stuff, like
Or playing League.
or playing League. Yeah, exactly. So like, if you think, oh, this is gonna take so much time of my day, like, if we really want to, we can speedrun board meetings. Like, if there's people who know, hey, these people have to leave in an hour, then we just talk it a lot quicker and we go through it a lot quicker without a lot of talking. So if you're scared that it's gonna take a lot of time, please don't be, because there's just like, as
I
long
mean, it
as
takes
it's
as long as you want it to,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Exactly. You spend as much time on it as you want, and that kind of counts for your entire board role. There are definitely times where one of us can put more or less time into it, and that's okay as long as you make sure that everything that needs to happen happens. And even if you can't do it at that moment, someone else can, but just make sure that it gets done. So just communicate about what you want and what you can do, what you can't do, and make sure that everyone knows what each board member is up to. And I think that is also something that we have worked on a lot as board, because in the previous years, like some of you might know, we've had some half-year board members, because some boards just didn't work well together. Now, that's not necessarily a point of concern to be afraid of applying, but
I
it
was.
is something that can happen, and when it happens it's very unfortunate, but you can prevent most of those problems by just making sure that you can communicate with each other.
Yep. I think communication is just really important. Know what to expect from each other. And also, like, if there is a time that you won't have time, let people know. And if they have a problem with that, see how you can solve it. Like, this isn't a one-man thing. Yes, all roles are divided and you have certain stuff all you have to do. But even if there's a certain chair task that I have struggled doing, or there's a sticky task that maybe there's an entire week Nikita doesn't have access to the mails, someone else has to do it. There are always ways to always just help each other and talk about it. And if you do have concerns that one person is maybe not, maybe you have concern that someone is not doing their job, or you have a concern that you're the only one putting in job, talk to someone about it. Talk to your chair, talk to whoever you're most comfortable with. Find a way to solve it and resolve the tension between the people, because not sharing these concerns are the biggest reasons why most boards don't really go well. So yeah, I think it's just like, yeah. And even if sometimes it doesn't go well, sometimes it maybe doesn't get resolved, but that's also the reason why there's half-year GMMs. Like, there are always ways to figure out how to solve issues, and maybe and that way you can just see, hey, what happens, you know? But yeah, join board. It's fun. At least I think it's really fun. I've really enjoyed my year.
Nano, by the way, asked us if any of us wanna apply again.
I mean,
Ah,
that's just up for people to. Personally, I'm going to Japan for half a year. I think otherwise I would have been very interested in doing another year. Because I did really enjoy it. But yeah, I'm just going away for half a year, which just makes me very unavailable.
Are you gonna do it again in the year after?
Depends what I do with my studies. And yeah, I think that's the biggest reason. Because I think if everything goes as planned, I'm going to be doing a master then. And maybe I don't really know if I want to combine a master's with a board year, because a master's can usually be very
Busy.
yeah, exactly. But
Mm.
who
Hi.
knows? I've really enjoyed it, so I do really
Hello.
recommend joining.
Back.
I don't
I
know
would
if anyone
like
else
to,
wants to
but
share it. There's also
I have a
like
master's.
Hmm.
And
you can also just be a mystery. Maybe maybe reply, maybe you don't reply. Who knows?
well, I haven't given myself the choice because I joined Applico, but I think I would be interested to do Seki again, but I don't think it's a smart idea with my masters. But if it's really necessary, I would. But also, I don't
Bram.
think any board year could be better than this. You know?
No, we're just go to board.
Bram, would
Woo!
you do another board year again?
Not next year.
A third one.
There happens
Then Bram
maybe.
would be the one who's been longest
Board member.
I mean,
bored.
if I'm like
Wonder.
next year, I'm gonna do my masters. But if I don't finish it in 1 year, I have a very boring second year of
So
my
maybe you
masters.
do your
Mhm.
second year of
Same.
master.
Then I can do
How-
another one.
How about in 2 years we all do another one?
We run it back.
Real.
I won't be a student by then
Run it
anymore, I
back.
think.
So what? Who needs to be a student?
Well,
Is it in the
I'm not.
statute that you need to be a student?
No,
no.
Right.
not.
No,
We
I don't
run
think
it
so.
back.
Yeah, well,
Rerun
So-
us 2 years. Handshake.
Crazy.
we'll
run
just
it
all do
back.
next year again.
No, not next year.
No, next
Not
year
next year.
I'm gone. Sad.
Yeah, next year.
When you
would
getting
Lana.
when you get schepijs, what flavor are you getting? I
Mm.
get citroen, passievrucht, or mango.
I do not eat that.
I don't.
I love strawberry cheesecake.
Don't get
Or like-
skip
Or like kersen amarene. That's also nice, but that's the same idea.
Nina,
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
answering that.
expensive.
I don't
But if you
actually
didn't
like
ask anything.
strawberries.
No, she asked me in on Discord.
Bruh.
Lame.
But if
You should answer
Shut
it
up.
on
Put it in the
stream.
chat.
I
Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat if you want to know.
Don't be a
Bro.
pussy.
Who sent you something?
Nina.
Oh.
Nina
Lana.
wants to know if you'd rather do a trio with a man or a woman.
What? This is getting a bit out of hand. Is
Oh
it?
wait,
That's
what?
a weird
I'll
question.
first do the schep ice one. I don't
If
really
you
like ice
donate-
cream that
if you-
much.
If you donate
Yeah,
$5, you
€5
can
and we
ask me
answer it.
anything, and then we'll answer it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
no,
answer it for
dude,
ask me anything. But
Yes.
yeah, the ice cream. I don't know. I probably just get stracciatella or like one of those cookie flavors. But I don't get
dough.
ice cream that often because I don't really like it.
Lana,
hmm
tell us something about your board application.
But my
Yeah,
board
we all talked a bit
application.
How
about
did you
it.
get the idea to become board?
Why I wanted to become board is because Dorans has done a lot for me personally, I think, because before I joined Dorans, my mental health was like bad for a few years, so it was hard to set up like just to get to know people. So when I joined Dorans was just very open, and I quickly met a lot of people through there and made a lot of friends, and that had really helped me. So for me, I just wanted to do something for Dorans. So yeah, first I just joined some committees, and then I thought I'd do a board year, because this year was supposed to be a bit calm for me, because I had only a few subjects and my thesis. But then I got a job. Kind of, I wasn't really looking for a job, but I found it. So it was a bit busier, but yeah, that's why I wanted
Found
to do
you.
the board application. And how I did it, I just, I think I made a CV too, and then I just talked to the applico and told them I wanted to do PR and sponsoring, because mostly because I like just I know usually I can talk to people quite easily if I know a little bit about them. So I knew just having communications with the other boards and stuff like that, and just knowing people inside Dorans fitted with that role. Uh, so yeah, so I said that I didn't want to be secretary because I'm very bad with mail and stuff like that, and I'm a very disorganized person. Although it's better for organization, better for me to have some organization. So yeah, I'm rambling.
I think
What
everyone here got their perfect role.
I think so too.
I think so too. I don't think this setup this year could have been
Ooh, a job
uh
lawyer, Lana.
Actually,
have
that is
like
an interesting question. I would like every one of us to name a few qualities that perfectly fit our role.
Hmm.
Autism.
Okay,
Yeah.
no.
We need to look at sheets of numbers. Hell yeah.
If you are autistic, become treasurer. Yes.
He's not even diagnosed.
If you
If
are
you like numbers, if
undiagnosed
you like
autist,
numbers, become the treasurer.
uh-huh. Do you
I
have any
think
other qualities, Bram?
No.
No, not Bram, but
No. I do not have any other qualities.
No redemption.
I
I think what's important, at least for a chair, is to
No, no, no,
realize
no,
your responsibility. Oh,
not qualities you think are important for chair, but qualities you have as a person that fit your role, that make you good at your role.
well, okay. I think it's being able to analyze and observe a lot of things without necessarily putting all your emotions into it. I think it's very often there has to be one person that is kind of calm and is able to kind of like whenever a situation happens that is very like like not in control. I think it's very important to be able to be there and say, "Hey guys, calm down. This is how it looked from it." Like realize each other's opinions, and I think I've been able to do that a lot. And
Hmm.
I've also been able to do that in a lot of also committees. And yeah, I think that's a quality I have that is very good to have in a chair.
Like I said before as well, to you, I think that a lot of qualities that you have from being a high level Valorant player, from being good in a team and communicating and analyzing and everything like that, that just really translated well to your chair role. I'm not saying you have to be good at something like that, but I just think that it translated so well, and I did not expect that at all.
Good in Velo equals chair.
equals chair. Surely.
I think for
Yes.
Seki, I just really like writing mindlessly. Like when I'm doing the minutes like from the GMM, I just turn it on and I hear like 5 words and I write them down and then I turn it on again and I do it again and that is just like it's so mindless. I love it. I don't even have to think. Well, I have to think about what they're saying. Sometimes that's hard, but you know. I think I don't know. I don't really know. I'm organized, I guess, but that's not super special
Yes.
for for a board member. I think a lot of board members should
I
be at least a
I
little
think being
organized.
organized is does make you a good Seki though.
Yeah,
Also goes
probably.
for
If you're
treasurer.
disorganized, we would have a problem.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but other than that, I'm not really sure. I just like the job.
I mean, I think
The
also your
words.
ability to listen to people really helps. and just to, be present and help people.
Fair. That sounds like a smart addition. Hadn't thought about
What
it.
about you, Bram?
Okay.
Which qualities do you have that fit
You
your
already
role?
had Bram.
You already
You already
said.
had
He
Bram.
said he had no
But
But we
just-
said
qualities
he was
other than being
useless. We can't do
autistic.
that.
You just need to be able to look at numbers and be organized. That's it. Be good with numbers and be organized.
Lana, what
I
do
go
you
type
think
again.
you're good at that makes you good PR and sponsoring?
I think mostly I'm just I don't know how to explain it because it's not necessarily that I'm extroverted, but I think I'm good at just I guess just vibing or talking with people. So I think that's a good trait because that's how you like just set up contacts. And yeah, I like going to parties and balls and to gobos.
Making connections and talking to people, not being afraid to approach people.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
am afraid to approach people, so that's one of the things I wanted to like push myself in by becoming PR and sponsoring.
Mhm.
Because I do know that once I push myself to talk to other people, I can talk to them. Like I can vibe with most people. Uh, yeah, I think I guess that's a good trait for if you want to be PR and sponsoring.
I
Did you
mean,
have
Yeah.
everything?
Oh, sorry. And what do you think, Lynn? Are your qualities that fit your role?
I think the fact that I am a very diverse gamer helps a lot with esports commissioner. Before I was esports commissioner, I already played Rocket League and Valorant and League of Legends and CS. So all of the main games are something I already knew about and know how they work. And on top of that, I just really like organizing things. So I already had a lot of experience managing stuff, managing teams, and I think that also really helps. Being able to kind of recognize what people want and to be able to put them together in a team, that does really help my role.
Yeah, babe.
Hey,
What
Nana
kind
has
of
another
thing more do you
question.
like the least?
Oh,
Things you
damn.
rather
How
annoy.
do you customize the
Avoid.
capsules? Is the squeaky
Avoid.
chair the sixth board member?
Yeah, that's completely true.
Blame Kieran. Blame Kieran. I can make it squeak more. There you go.
Oh,
Okay,
I
Bram's
hate the
maybe
question.
sound.
maybe we should
It's
talk about
horrible.
the commissaris Kobo too.
No.
Yeah, but maybe we
Honorary
should
board
first
member.
answer
First, we should
Nana's
answer Nana's question.
Yeah, we
Please.
should answer Nana's question first.
What being bored do you like the least? That you constantly have things to do, and it's very hard to actually plan in free time to just de-stress a bit.
I think personally, what I found really hard to do, at least in the beginning, I found it really hard to. This was just in the beginning. I struggled a bit in the beginning to kind of, indeed, kind of what Lana says. Like, a lot of this is also just planning for yourself and telling yourself, hey, I'm gonna do this today.
Remember
What
Loki,
helps for
so
me is I just have an agenda where I just put, hey, today I'm gonna do this. And it doesn't have to take a lot of time. It doesn't have to do anything. You can just put a small reminder, hey, today I'm gonna have to do this. And like as I said and mentioned before, it doesn't take a lot of time. But I was really stressed about knowing that I had like 5 things to do. But at least what helped for me was just take an hour, do all those 5 things in one sitting, and then you felt so relieved and you realized, oh hey, maybe it was 5 things, but they all don't take a lot of time. So I think it's important to not look at the number of things you have to do, but more the time that will cost you, because you will think, oh, it's gonna take so long, but in reality, it's fine.
Bram's just trying to make sure he doesn't have to talk again.
true.
I
Bram,
he always
answer.
says it at board meetings too. Whatever fill in the person that just talks said. I
Yes.
agree with it.
Whatever Lana just said.
Shut the fuck.
But
Nikita, what do you like the least about?
members
I
that
think-
complain about something that they could easily fix or do themselves.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think Bram's real hate in the board task is just answering questions he doesn't want to
Yes.
answer.
What? Bram, your hoodie.
Look, it's
The
Avatar.
Zuko one.
Beautiful.
I like the
Loading.
Appa one the best from the ones you
Yeah,
have.
but that's way too hot right now.
Yeah.
Wait, Nikita, what was your answer actually? I didn't hear.
I said members that complain about something they could easily do or
Look
fix
how
themselves.
cute. That one is
Oh,
actually so
that's
soft.
I
true.
think
That's
It's
something that
so
always
soft.
happens in everything,
Yeah.
though.
But it's so annoying because you work hard and then they start complaining and you're like, I do so much. Why are you complaining about this tiny thing?
yeah. I
Or
think
when
what's
they
important.
complain, but it's literally there. When they ask a question, for example, that we didn't do something and we literally did, and then you just refer them back to the message,
Yeah.
and then they're like,
So true.
I think that's one thing. Like as a board, you're always gonna have some people who will like have complaints and say their things. Jesus Christ, that's so loud, Nikita.
Just normal.
But
It
there will
is
always
loud.
be people who will complain, and I think what's important is to also just talk to your board members about it. When do we get the new jerseys? Yeah, I can check.
That's a good question.
I
I
can
haven't answered yet, Vera.
check.
Shipping date is next
Oh,
week.
please. What do you like the least about being a board member?
Deadlines. I love procrastinating, and deadlines are my enemy.
Unlucky.
I just really I have a lot of things that I want to do, and I don't have the time to do them before another deadline comes, and then I have to do my boring tasks first, and I don't want to do them.
I
Estimated
feel you in
shipping
that
day
one.
is tomorrow till 18th, so it's this week.
Niamu asked,
deadlines.
"There's deadlines?" Question mark.
Yeah,
you
you
we
do
have
have
to
certain
lining up
deadlines as a board
maybe
member.
not.
I
There's
mean,
quite
it's
a couple.
mostly. I mean, it's mostly like the commissioner esports has deadlines. For example, when you have a competition, there's a deadline for signing up the teams, and you can't really say like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna move that," because it's not a deadline you set; it's a deadline someone else has set for you. So
Yeah.
those
So
are just
Seki also got
immovable
some
deadlines.
deadlines. Like I have a deadline for when I need to finish the next GMM notes. That's also a deadline. And I get some deadlines from Radboud with emails like, respond by then or not at all.
Oh, do this now, do this now.
Exactly.
Ruby asked the question we already had.
We already answered.
Yeah, we
some...
have already answered it.
Yeah, well, we want to do it like sometime, maybe in 2 years, but not next year, probably.
In 2 years, we rerun.
Actually, I didn't answer. I did say that I would be down to perform esports commissioner tasks, but I'm not gonna do a full board year anymore.
How do we
One
customize
said,
our
how do we
Kapsalons?
customize our Kapsalons? I just do a Kapsalon burner and I move on. Actually, I say no tomatoes if there's like tomatoes,
Lettuce?
but
Oh
there's
yeah,
no
I
tomatoes.
will say
Tomatoes
no
are blue
tomatoes too, and I wanted the
Oh,
feta.
speaking about tomatoes, I'm just getting tomatoes now. I put every vegetable on that you have, and
Tomatoes are
sambal and garlic
good.
sauce.
Actually, last
No,
time I'm
no
pretty sure it was
sambal.
with you
No
Oh.
guys.
sambal.
Yes, of course I
Wasn't it
signed up
when
for the
we went
weekend.
out after? I was with
No,
them
not
for
olives,
sure.
just
Those
feta.
are not even
Just
supposed
feta.
to be on a
But I want
Feta.
feta on my Kapsalon.
No, I want
What the hell?
neither.
Feta,
I
no
just do like
tomatoes.
a regular Kapsalon with
No olives!
with lettuce and cheese, no sambal, but a lot of garlic sauce.
Bart,
have 40 now.
What do you want for your donation, Bart?
I donated
Oh,
to
Bart
finish up the
donate?
stream week.
He donated 35, so what do you want now?
What?
Wait, he
You
donated
want-
to us? 35?
No.
What?
35?
Thank you.
Oh,
Bart.
wow!
Thank you.
He's
Bart
the
What do you
best
want us to
honorary
do?
member.
2 times shots for everyone.
Wow.
Shots,
But do I do
shots,
tequila
shots.
or do I do...
But then you
Double
still have
Berliner Luft.
$5 left. You can choose something else.
Let's go, 3,
I am
2,
drinking whiskey.
1.
And then Lynn is drinking vodka.
Wait, what? Lana's already shotting.
Lana, why are you shotting without us?
I thought we're gonna shot. Why are we waiting so long with it?
Okay, this is the
I
first
don't
one.
even know how much
Cheers.
this is.
3,
Cheers.
2, 1.
Oh, what?
Whee!
So-
Eh,
Oh,
that's disgusting.
Spilling,
Another one?
spilling whiskey is annoying.
and now we answer
Yeah,
the
we do another one.
question, or do we do the
We
other
still
one
have to
straight
do one.
after?
Okay, cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers. I was already putting it away.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. That was
Okay, we're
definitely 2
done.
shots. My bad.
Now I have to fill this actually.
It's fine.
Do we have more questions?
We had another question. We had favorite song at the moment? Question mark.
My favorite song is always Viva la Vida by Coldplay.
Yeah, I knew who was gonna say it.
Mm,
Right now,
Wait,
I'm
was that
listening
an
to
actual
a
question?
song.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an
it was
actual
in the
question.
chat.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it.
Right
I
now,
see
I'm
it, I
listening to
see
a
it.
song that's called "Are You Satisfied?" and I think it's a bop actually. I just found it like a week ago, but I'm just listening to it nonstop. By Marina.
Let me check.
I'm listening nonstop to Useva from Ado. I really like
I've
that one.
been listening non-stop to Happy Feet
What?
songs.
You listen to that one?
Yeah.
Wait, what was it called?
I don't know how to pronounce it. Useva. I'll send it to you.
By?
I'll send it to you.
Oh my god, I know the English cover. That one I know exactly out of the back of my head.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I really like. I found the artist through because they had a collab with Imagine Dragons, and Take Me to the Beach, and I listened a lot to Imagine Dragons, and I was like, that's not Imagine Dragons, that's a different artist, and it sounded so good, and now so I've been listening to other songs of them, and they're great.
When did
That's
you listen?
good.
Now
Nikita,
10
what's
for
your
Lana
favorite
and-
song?
Right now it's I Like It by Stray Kids.
Okay. What about you, Lynn?
I'm actually
I'm quickly
looking
gonna
what
grab
my
something to
favorite
drink.
song is. I have one I really liked right now is Those Were the Days by Jude York. That one's nice.
Nice.
But
Incredibly
Vera,
hot when
what
I
about
made this.
this?
Bro, I also have it.
Oh.
Wait.
You both have it.
This is the
What?
big
I
one.
said mine is small. Yeah, we still have two. We will. I wanted to
Come
put
on,
some
Robbie,
DVD.
why did
DVD
you
is
do it?
quick.
I hope you had your shot still
Yeah,
ready.
you guys gotta quit because I need to do stuff. No,
I
we're
hope your
fine.
shot's still ready.
donate.
Who's donating? How
Robbie.
Robbie.
How much?
Robbie.
Fuck you, Robbie. 15.
Maybe put a max on it. No, of course not. We're here to drink.
We're here
Oh,
to drink.
I'm gonna
Cheers.
run
It's-
out of alcohol
It's
if I
for the
do.
children. It's for the children and for the elephants.
No,
I don't even
you
like
know I
children.
I did 12
That's
shots
you,
at
Cheers,
Nikita. That's you.
guys. Cheers.
Cheers, cheers.
No max at
Cheers.
Yeah.
all.
I don't drink, but you could have put something like that I had to do if they donated, but you didn't. So haha.
You have to put up with us,
Yeah, you have to
Nikita.
put it. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, honestly,
To
I would
control
prefer
us
being
while we're
drunk
drunk.
around 3 drunkies and being sober.
Yeah.
You have the hardest task, Nikita.
Yeah,
Yeah, true,
my
true.
life's so hard. Poor.
Life's so hard.
Nikita, why did you donate $5? What do you want? What do you
Who
want?
donated?
Wait, who?
Pepper.
Who? Pepper.
What
Pepper.
did you do?
What does he want?
Pepper donated €5. What does he
Bram
want?
to
Bram
shots.
to
Let's
shots.
go!
Let's go!
Let's go.
In the cheers.
Honestly, I would love to see Nikita face painted on camera.